Greetings of the day, everyone. This video is specially prepared to cover certain relevant topics from the third unit of e-commerce models from the course of digital marketing. What is e-commerce? Type of e-commerce models, that is business to business, business to consumer, consumer to consumer, consumer to business. The advantages of e-commerce and the disadvantages of e-commerce are the topics that we are going to cover in this session. What is e-commerce? E-commerce is the business of buying and selling goods on the internet. It is the activity of electronically buying and selling the products online. These service providers these services are provided online over the internet network. E-commerce also involves transaction of money, funds, data transfer, etc. Examples of e-commerce businesses are Amazon, Flipkart, eBay, Quikr. When you buy a book or a commodity from Amazon, then it is considered to be a classic example of an e-commerce transaction. The eras of the e-commerce. E-commerce 1 from 1995 to the 2000. That was the first stage of e-commerce. Explosive growth started in 1995. Widespread of web to advertise the products. Ended in 2000 when the dot-com began to collapse. E-commerce phase 2 again started propelling from 2001 to 2006. It began in January 2001. Reassessment of the e-commerce companies started post the 2001 bang of the second phase of the e-commerce business. Why e-commerce? The cost of entry into an e-commerce platform is very, very low. It reduces the transaction cost. It has access to the global market, and you can secure a place for yourself in the entire market. What is the process of e-commerce? Now, in the diagram above, you can see that a consumer uses web browser to connect to the home page of a merchant's website on the internet. The consumer browses the catalogs of the product, features on the site, and selects the item that he needs to purchase. The selected items are placed in the electronic equivalent of a shopping cart. When the consumer is ready to complete the purchase of the selected items, she provides a bill and a ship to address for the purchase and delivery. When the merchant's web server receives this information, it computes the total cost of the order, including tax, shipping, handling charges, GST, etc., and then displays the total to the consumer. The customer can now provide a payment information such as a credit card and then submit the order. When the credit card number is validated and the order is completed at the commerce server site, the merchant site displays a receipt confirming of the customer's purchase. The commerce server site then forwards the order to the processing network for payment processing and fulfillment. This is how the entire process of e-commerce works. What are the models of e-commerce? There are 4 models to e-commerce. One is business to business, one is business to consumer, then the consumer to consumer, and consumer to business. In the business to business model, let us take the example of Dell computers. In the business to business model, it consists of the largest form of e-commerce. This model defines that the buyer and seller are 2 different entities. It is similar to a manufacturer issuing goods to a retailer or to a wholesaler. The volume of transaction in case of a business to business model is always large. It is a continuous process and the customer always comes back for repurchase. Now, as I said, if you take the example of Dell, now Dell deals with computers and other associated accessories online, but it does not make up all of those products. So, in order to deal with those products, first step is to purchase them from unlike businesses, that is producers of those products. In the B2B business, it is done between 2 companies or 2 businesses. A business sells its products or services to another business. The product never reaches the end user, but it is generally resold. The players are normally the manufacturers, wholesalers or retailers. Then you have the business to consumer. It is the model taking business and consumers interaction. The basic concept of this model is to sell the product online to the consumers. Now B2C is the direct trade between the company and the consumers. It provides direct selling through the online channels. If you want to sell goods and services to customers so that anybody can purchase any products directly from the supplier's website. Example, when you purchase goods from Amazon, it is a business to consumer model. In B2C, the business is done between the seller and the customer. A seller sells his products or services to the customer directly. The players are normally the manufacturers, the wholesalers, the retailers, and the end users are the customers. The consumer to consumer. The consumer to consumer. There are many sites offering free classified auctions and forums where individuals can buy and sell goods to and make online payment systems like PayPal, where people can send and receive money online with ease. eBay auction is a great example of consumer to consumer, where a person to person auction takes place every day since 1995. In the consumer to consumer business model, this is done between two people. Both are the end users. One person sells his personal goods to another person who is interested on the same. The players are always the end users. Then you have the consumer to business model. In the consumer to business model, it is a business model in which the consumers create value and businesses and consume that value. For example, when a consumer writes a review or when a consumer gives a useful idea for a new product development, that the consumer is creating value for the business. For example, to these services could be the freelance services provided by the software engineers, the freelance training provided by the trainers. Herein, the individual or the consumers are providing services or their knowledge to the business houses. Now, the consumer to business service is just the opposite of the business to consumer service. What are the advantages and disadvantages of the e-commerce site? The advantages. Let us look at the advantages first. E-commerce allows you to reach customers all over the country and around the world. Your customers can make purchases anywhere, anytime, especially more people are getting used to shopping on their mobile devices. With the advance in e-commerce platform technologies, it has become very easy and affordable to set up and maintain an e-commerce store with a low overhead. Merchants no longer have to spend large budget on TV ads or billboards, nor they have to worry about the expense for personal and real estate. For businesses that sell digital goods, e-commerce allows the delivery of products within seconds of making a purchase. This satisfies the consumer's need for instant gratification and helps increase sales. Especially for low-cost items that are often impulse buys, customer complaints are also addressed quickly. It also saves time, energy and effort for both the consumers and the company. E-commerce platform gives the merchant the opportunity to serve up personalized content and product recommendations to the registered customers. These targeted communications can help increase conversion by showing the most relevant content to each visitor. The growth of the online business is not limited by the availability of physical space. It is less of a challenge compared to those who are running a brick and a mortar shop. An e-commerce merchant can scale up and down their operations quickly and take advantage of the unlimited shelf space as a response to the market trend and the consumer demands. A customer can shop 24/7 on an online e-commerce portal. The website is functional at all times. It does not have working hours like a shop. The electronic commerce or e-commerce also allows the customer and the business to be in touch directly without any intermediaries. This also allows for quick communication and transaction. Now let us look at the disadvantages. The startup cost of an e-commerce portal is very high. The setup of the hardware and the software, the training cost of the employees, the constant maintenance and upkeep are all quite expensive. Although it may seem like a sure thing, the e-commerce industry has a high risk of failure. Many companies riding the dot-com wave of the 2000s have failed miserably. The high risk of the failure remains even today. Some consumers value the personal touch that they get from visiting the physical store and interacting with the sales associate. Such personal touch is particularly important for businesses which are selling high-end products, as customers not only want to buy the merchandise but also have great experience during the process. No matter how well a video is made, consumers still can't touch or feel a product. Not to mention, it is not easy feat to deliver a brand or an experience which could often include a sense of touch, smell, taste and sound, though the two-dimensionality of a screen. This is pretty obvious, but don't forget that your customers do need internet access before they can purchase from you. Since many e-commerce platforms have features and functionalities that require high-speed internet access for an optimal customer experience, there are chances you are excluding visitors who have slow connections. Credit card fraud is a real growing problem for the online business. It can lead to chargebacks that can result to loss in revenue, penalties and bad reputation. More and more businesses and organizations have fallen prey to malicious hackers who have stolen customer information from their database. Not only could this have legal and financial implications, but also lessens the trust the customer has on the company. With online shopping, the consumers can compare many products and find the lowest price. This forces many merchants to compete on the price and reduce their profit margin. With this, we come to the end of e-commerce. We saw the four types of e-commerce, and we saw the advantages and disadvantages of e-commerce, and we also understood what is e-commerce. This brings us to the end of our video. Thank you.